earlier is better for that as well.
Yeah, very true. Anything else pre-PAX or pre-convention that you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, like just some practical stuff, like bring hand sanitizer.
Tons.
Yes.
Like
Tons.
I'm sorry, these are like really practical things, but here's the thing is that people get sick at conventions every year easily. In fact, if you're considered lucky if you don't get the PAX pox as it is, okay? So yeah, make sure that you're washing your hands a ton, but even before then, be proactive about it and bring your own hand sanitizer for sure. At the very least, if not just like hand wipes them on cue. Excited to die on me. There we go. Even if it's just like you know, I don't know. It just whatever you can get your hands on, honestly, just keep yourself clean. Every handshake, every hug, every time that you can, just wash your fucking hands. Because if you don't, you're gonna make everybody sick. You're gonna get you sick. So now, not only did you take a weekend to go to a convention away from your stream, but now the next week, an expensive weekend, and then another week, you're gonna be sick and you're gonna be miserable. So that, and also, I would suggest, and this is kind of weird coming from me because I'm like the least, you know, likely person to do this. Pack something that's nice. Pack like nice shoes, like a nice outfit, just in case something pops up where you have to go to something a little bit nicer. Yeah, you never know what you're invited to, and you don't want to show up in jeans and sandals at like a nice event.
Because that's a bad impression. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Well, it's not necessarily a bad
way.
impression. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily a bad impression, but I would say that there are some places that absolutely, no matter how badass you think you are, will not let you in if you're not wearing shoes. So, yeah, just bring those along. I'm a big fan. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds weird, but I wear sandals everywhere. Like I'm a big sandal guy. Like I wear sandals everywhere. You'll almost never see me not in sandals. And there's been places where like we were in Vegas one time and we were with a bunch of Amazon execs and they wanted to go party in this VIP club in Vegas, right? Which is insane. And we get there and there's like, you know, like Tony Hawk is there and some like MMA fighters are there and like it's a crazy big party.
Shoes.
All with closed-toe shoes, and all I had was sandals. So I actually had to like run somewhere just to buy some fucking shoes, just to throw them on my feet, just to get into the place. You know, so that's one example of many. But yeah, just keep something nice. You know, closed-toe shoes. You know, if you want a polo shirt or a button-down shirt, or you know, some khakis, whatever, some slacks.
Yeah,
just
and
something
weather-appropriate clothes too.
Yeah.
Like
and
it's gonna be cold in Boston. Like
yeah,
that's also true.
Paying
Do research on your weather.
Appropriate. Yeah,
that's what you definitely should do in advance is research the weather, research the climate for the regular season, like whatever they normally expect there, and then also look at what it's going to be like, you know, 2 days in advance. Hopefully you're packing by 2 days in advance and not the night before.
It was snowing in Boston last year. I wonder if it's going to snow this year.
I think it's snowing today in Boston.
Freezing.
Like,
yeah, there's another weather system moving in. So research on the weather. That's an easy one that can be a huge game changer. I'm sure there are tons of people in the chat who could be like, yeah, I had a rough time in Boston that one year because I didn't look at the weather in advance.
Oh, that one year I actually managed to get a room at the hotel that was connected to the convention center, so I didn't have to go outside.
Lucked out. Yeah, that's awesome.
So
or smarted out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just another practical thing real quick too, and this I feel like I shouldn't have to say anything, but I do because there's so many people that don't keep up with their hygiene, but bring deodorant, bring things to brush your teeth. Actually, I would suggest, okay, so my management group started doing this like the very first year I started working with them, and I thought they were fucking brilliant for it, excuse my language. They gave me like a little baggie, right? And the little baggie had two had some ibuprofen in there, and it had like a dust or like a lint roller. It had gum. It had like a minty like toothpicks. It had like hand wipes, just a little thing that just keeps you going throughout the day, because you're likely going to be walking around the convention center. You're going to be getting sweaty. You're going to eat things. You're going to be immersed in people and talking constantly. Your mouth's going to get dry. It's going to get nasty. Things are going to get disgusting. Just to keep up with yourself every now and then pop in a piece of gum if you're talking.
I think
to
gum is a
people
game
lot.
changer.
Yeah, gum is a game changer. Yeah,
it's like the one time out of the year when you're talking with other people face to face, you might not be directly aware of how your mouth smells 8 hours into the day.
Better to be like safe than sorry too. Like if you're not sure, just
absolutely
pop a mint gum or something.
Yeah, until you just drank a beer, pop some gum, or had a couple of drinks or something.
Oh, for sure. And when we're talking about drinks, I would say make sure when you're going to conventions, don't share drinks with people. We were talking about not getting sick. So like when it comes down to like the same thing as hand sanitizer, don't share drinks with people. Make sure that you get sleep. Because like you want to go so hard, but you will get sick if you don't sleep. Your body can only take so much. Most of us are very sedentary. We sit at our computers all day. So if you go really hard and you don't sleep and you're exposed to way more germs than you normally are, you're gonna get sick. So
and also you're eating trash food usually, right? So it's like you're out of control with your diet, you're out of control with your sleep, you're drinking far less water, so your homeostasis, your metabolism's down, your immune system's tanking for all these reasons at the same time, that you're suddenly exposed to tons of germs. Everything's assaulting you. You really want to maximize all that stuff.
And we're going at this from the perspective of people who are trying to work and continue to work after. If you're just going to see your friends, like do whatever, don't sleep. I don't care, because it doesn't matter if you're not going to work. There's a different set of equations. Nobody wants to get sick, but like honestly, maybe you don't care. I care. So if you're doing the I'm not sleeping, I'm sharing everyone's drink, please stay 5 feet away from me.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah.
I mean, and the whole like
you're a disease vector at that point.
Yeah.
The whole sleep thing also ties into like, planning your schedule ahead of time. If you are someone that stays up late, either because you just like, you just tend to stay up late, or you like the party or something, schedule. Don't make appointments for like 9 or 10 a.m. the next day. Like, do your appointments at 2 o'clock or later or something. Like, know yourself, because you don't want to miss appointments. That is like the worst thing that you can do, because you're either too tired or too hungover to
or waste your time and their time because you are barely cognizant. Like, I know that I'm a trash fire when I wake up in the morning. I have to have time to acclimate to being alive again. I have to get a little bit of coffee in me. And if I'm meeting somebody 10 minutes after I wake up, I've had no food, I've had no water, I've had no time to, just get my brain in order. And I'm going to be wasting their time. It's a very fair point.
Oh, and when you're considering,
here's an idea. Oh, so good.
No, sorry. When you're considering this time management, make sure that you keep in mind time zones.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's another factor for sure. Go ahead, Ellohime. That was the only.
I was just gonna say, like, and this might seem like a crazy idea to some people, but maybe just don't drink. Like, because here's the thing, though, and this again goes in line with: are you there for business? Are you there for pleasure? I'm going to go ahead and assume that the people who are listening to the show have more of a business sense about them than a pleasure sense when we're going to conventions. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's okay to not drink, or if you do drink, have very little. There's something to say about the camaraderie of having a drink with somebody, right? And the kind of good feels and bonding you can have from that, sure. But when your drinking is making you sloppy around people you want to impress, especially when it comes to early morning, the next morning you're not able to function and you're missing things, makes you look unprofessional. It makes it does way worse for you than good. So if you're going in there, like I said, have a drink socially, but maybe consider not pounding back every fucking drink put in front of you, because you're going to act a fool and the people that you want to impress are going to
stay. I can definitely speak to that personally too. Having been to 3 years of conventions completely sober, the meeting somebody for the first time when they're like 17 sheets into the wind, that's a judgment that's hard for me, even when I have known them otherwise. That's hard for me to forget. It naturally sticks when I'm sober and I can see the behaviors clearly, as opposed to judging them in a different way because I've also had alcohol. You don't know who you're going to run into, and you don't know their mental state. It is ideal to keep yourself as cognizant and aware and clean in your mentality as you can. And you know yourself. You know how much you can handle. You know where that line is. Just try and manage that a little bit would be my advice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's like for me, I just started antidepressants, so I actually can't drink with them. So it's like don't feel peer pressured because even if your perception is that everyone there is having a drink and you ought to too, there's a lot of ways to like have a drink in your hand and not be drinking. And a lot of people, even if you don't like see them, because the people who are drunk are louder, there are a lot of people who aren't. And so like get yourself, you know, a soda water and some lime or like a cranberry and soda water. It looks like a drink. It's like if it makes you feel more comfortable to have like, to have like a Shirley Temple, something in your hand so that you still feel like part of the group and you're still having a beverage and you're not just
you get
like
a virgin mixed drink too. What do you call it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So
cocktail, virgin cocktail.
Like one of the bars near me has like an apple sage ginger soda and it's the best thing ever. So there are definitely options if you don't want to drink but you still want to be drinking. Mocktails. Yeah, mocktails are the thing. Yeah.
There are caveats. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. My bad.
No, that was it.
I was gonna say like there are caveats to these rules, like almost always, right? So there is a time when you need to get shit faced, right? When Emmett walks up to you and says, "Hey, come back to my private hotel and we have a party back here. We're all gonna get shit faced." Sure, go for it because like you know it's fucking Emmett, right? He's at the top. I mean, there's times when you want to go and party and get to know these people because the bonding experience sometimes is the partying.
Sure,
but again, these are just keeping your mind open. Don't always like limit yourself to these rules. Like
there's a context.
Yes, you got
be a full human being. You can decide these things.
Yeah. Yes. And the thing is to know again what Hunter said, kind of echo that your own natural rhythm, understanding that, understanding what you can drink, understanding the context of the situation in the room. Just be at your best mentally, you know. And when the time comes to get shit faced and go crazy with a bunch of fucking guys that you know you want to have fun with, go for it and have fun and build that kind of bonding and everything safely. But yeah, for the most part, you definitely want to keep your wits about you.
Well,
so
and this
just
comes
throwing
down
it out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This comes down to making plans where like if you make a plan and they're like, we're gonna go get shit faced and you're trying not to drink, you might be super uncomfortable. So like be smart, know what your plans are, know what your limits are. And if someone says like, dude, you got to come to this party, all these cool people are going to be there, we're going to get shit faced, and you want to hang out with cool people, but you're not comfortable with getting shit faced, maybe just opt out of that situation because you don't want to be awkward and sober, wishing that you could get in better with the people that you want to get in better with, but you don't want to drink.
Like, no, go shit face. Go get shit faced.
So how much should you plan your stuff out?
Like you have to plan ahead.
So speaking more broadly too, how much should you plan? How intense should you like? How rigid is your schedule going to be? Does that vary by person? Do you think that there's like more of a universal thing?
It's definitely by person.
Yeah, I think it definitely varies by person. Here's my philosophy on it. And again, this is very personal. You know, everybody's on different levels doing different things. But for me, the only time I make a solid plan with somebody is if it's with like a client or a sponsor or a game company or something that I definitely want to do. Like that's the only time. Yeah, lock the time in. Like I am going to be here at 7 o'clock for dinner, no matter what, right? But
we lost you.
Sorry. I only make a couple of these plans every convention. Like maybe I'll have one or two. You know, like this is what I'm doing at this time, no matter what. Because at a certain level, you start getting into if you don't leave yourself flexible, you end up biting yourself in the ass when you're not able to be able to drop plans and be able to make new plans and be able to go here, go there, be at this dinner, that dinner. Like the last thing you want is to say, oh yeah, I'm going to meet this indie game developer at, 3 o'clock today. And I've set that, whatever. And so, and then like somebody else, maybe a potential sponsor says, hey, can we meet at 3? We're talking about trying to play somebody's game early, which you can talk to them at any point. You can send them messages on Twitter, you can do whatever, and then losing an opportunity to maybe have funding for a year or two.
Exactly, a long term.
So again, if you're like, it's great to have a plan and to have a plan set up, great. But just understand the value of being flexible as well, and being able to work in the moment and meeting people and setting things up on the fly.
Oh yeah, and that definitely varies person to person. Like there are some people that work better inside of their schedule. I know for me personally, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with like I'm going to a convention with my partner who has like 5 panels they're doing, and they're like pretty scheduled out for the day, and I'm just like I've got absolutely nothing to do, and so that can be like a little like moment of like anxiety for me where I feel like I'm not doing my job because I don't have plans. So just putting something in place kind of like makes me feel a little bit better, a little bit like that's for me. Like I like having something that way I feel like I'm actually gonna do my job and not just like sit there feeling sorry for myself the whole time because I just like. But for some other people, it can be like the freeing thing is not having that schedule is because a lot of times, especially before you have connections with companies, there might be a moment where, and this has happened to me when I went to E3, I ran into somebody, they were going to a meeting and they were like, hey, just come along. Like we can talk while we're there. And I ended up getting a contact with Ubisoft that I hadn't had before because I just ran into somebody and I had free time. So that's definitely valuable to have that time to be able to do those things that you can't expect and you can't plan for. So yes, Ellohime, like that's 100% on the nose, right? But also like a lot of the times I just get like really like, oh, I have to have something that I'm doing or else I'm not doing my job. Why am I going here if I don't have plans, you know?
What I've done is like what I'm starting to do is like it's 2 out of the 3 days of the convention I'll like be like super booked, you know. For me, my focus now going to conventions is doing like more like public appearances and stuff, like doing like panels and kind of like branching out from my comfort zone, so trying to do like on stage stuff and stuff like that. So, you know, I try to make myself super busy, like maybe 2 out of the 3 days. And that third day I know is going to be, you know, not as scheduled, kind of open, because I know I'm going to be really tired by the last day. And I've definitely booked stuff on day 3s where I'm like, I can't even talk. I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. Like, so I try to like give myself that last day to just relax, enjoy the convention, take my time, and understand my limits.
I think that also preps you for getting back into streaming too, right? Because like if you're going hard the entire time, some of us more than others get back and we're like, I gotta take another couple of days off, even if you're not sick, because your voice is gone, you're just weary, you're weathered, you're not gonna put on a good show.
Yeah,
so there's 4 different ways of doing things just right here at this table. So definitely like going to a convention, like Ellohime was saying, just to figure out conventions, how you like it, like going for fun to start off with will help you to cement all of these things about how you do conventions.
Before it matters significantly, right?
Exactly.
Before every convention actually matters.
You can figure out the first time when you're feeling it out, how hard you're going to feel like partying, like how much sleep you might get, how much sleep you need, like versus how much you want. That was a hard lesson
for me, was sleep.
Yeah. I've always been like, I'll be the person that's like, oh, it's midnight. All right, goodbye. I go to sleep. Everyone else is just like, it's 2 a.m. Let's go to Denny's. And I'm like, I am so
And then I see them the next day and I'm like, hey guys. And they're like, oh, it's like face peeling off, you know?
And that's just me because I know that a lot of networking and social stuff happens after the convention at those 2 a.m. Denny's things. I recognize that. And I've chosen personally to sacrifice that because I feel better. I feel more like myself when I get some sleep. I get real tired, real hangry. I know what I need, and what I need is to make sure that like I'm taking care of my body because like coming back from that is really hard for me personally. But that's just something that you kind of have to feel out for yourself because this is like a week-long party, a weekend-long party. And it can be really like different for different people. Your body will tell you what it needs.
Yeah, for sure. So
it feels like we're kind of